Hello, I'm John Hartledge. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to take a little trip to central France. In the heart of Europe, one of the most amazing areas for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, white Burgundy. Let's chat wine. Let's chat! Wine. So, without further ado, I said Central France. Now, I want to try to help you get through all of the different names, all the different styles, all the different villages, and narrow this down to the basic fact that white Burgundy equals Chardonnay. Red Burgundy equals Pinot Noir. It's one of the most storied areas, and often this is the area most emulated. When any producer around the rest of the world produces Chardonnay, they typically reference a comparison or a contrast to Burgundy, France. White Burgundy. Now, why did I pick this particular one? This is Mâcon-Uchizy. And again, in France, by the chateau, by the producer, by the area, by the village. Within white Burgundy in north central France, but within that area of Burgundy, in the southeast part of Burgundy, is an area called Mâcon. Now there is a village Mâcon, but this whole Mâconnaise, or the Mâcon area, consists of about 26 communes of wine production. And they all produce, if it's white, it's Chardonnay. And it used to be before the 20th century, it was a lot of red production. Pinot Noir is very popular. But during the 20th century, in the 1900s, Chardonnay really became the most notable wine, and much more production, almost 60 to 70%, no, 86%, it's even higher, to where it's about 86% of white wine is Chardonnay, or wine period is white wine, which is Chardonnay for this area. And this particular area of the Mâcon tends to offer a little more value pricing. All of white Burgundy tends to be a little more expensive. They're in very high demand always. They're considered the top of the scale as far as quality, and there's demand. So it really is supply and demand drives that price up. So a good white Burgundy from the rest of the area of Burgundy can be anywhere from $15 to $25. But if you go specific areas, Puligny-Montrachet, Batard-Montrachet, so really, really high style particular villages, the best villages in white Burgundy. Monsieur, you can get more like $60, $70, $80, even over $100 a bottle for Chardonnay, because they're in such high demand. So they let's find a nice white Burgundy and in something that's under $20. So I found one, $17. I had a choice. I almost went with Pouilly Frisé. That's very common. Mâcon-Uchizy, also very, very common, but you'll hear the word Pouilly Frisé a lot. Very common. And I almost bought a Pouilly Frisé because it was old vines, and old vines tend to give a grape a little more intensity, a little more nuance, and other things, just more complexity. But I asked the wine shop owner, and he recommended this one. Again, it was $8 cheaper, but he recommended this one only because it went a little more toward a fresh fruit style, where the Pouilly Frisé was a little more mineral, a little more steely, a little more crisp, where this one had a little more of the pineapple fruit, a little more of that tropical fruit that we like as Americans for our Chardonnay. And the biggest thing to remember is California versus France, particularly in Burgundy, is soil history. And in Burgundy, it's thousands of years, this soil history. It used to be covered by oceans. So there's all kinds of limestone deposits and really neat minerals in that soil. You can't recreate that from California. You can do beautiful things with Chardonnay in California, but where France has soil, California has growing seasons, so you get more fruit in the California. You get a drier, more minerality type of situation from the results of growing grapes in Burgundy. So whenever you kind of think of it on somewhere on the scale between the two, this ends up a little more fruit driven, at least according to my guy at this one shop I've been frequenting lately. And that's why it's great to strike those relationships with a small wine shop, or even if it's a big wine shop, if you know there's someone on staff that really is tasting and really interested in nuances in wine and really studying. It makes a huge difference when you're in the shop. Yeah. Now, particle cork, actually polymer cork, but I'm still getting that nice, a little bit of aromatic. So this is almost like having a twist off, it's a direct seal. And by the way, I had a request from good friends of mine, a couple, Jeff and Missy from South Jersey, asked me to do a white Burgundy. And they've got friends in Florida who are real good friends with a sommelier. It's a nice restaurant, and they've been talking about white Burgundy lately, and we're getting, close to the warmer weather. So I said, all right, we'll do a white Burgundy episode. By the way, hope you like the merch. This is our first merch in the midst of COVID, social distancing, and home quarantining. So, without further ado, let's give a little taste here. So I really like the color. It's a nice little golden color. It's not too light. Sometimes you can, with Chardonnay, you want a little bit of straw, golden. Oh, really nice nose. So it's like fruit. The kind of fruit we're looking for. If it goes a little more towards that fruitier style, is pineapple. Again, not a California style. So not sweet, not oaky. This is almost assuredly stainless steel. So, and before stainless steel, they would use what was called neutral oak. Once you've fermented in oak, aged in oak, after a certain amount of years, that oak becomes less and less flavored. The inside almost becomes sealed, becomes neutral. It's not adding flavor. You always can tell if a wine's had a lot of oak content, particularly if the notes on the wine, the tasting notes from the winemaker say toasty or vanilla, those kind of spices, those all come from wood. This is very steely and very crisp, but then there's this great European feel on the finish, just this little bit of oiliness. Really like it. So at $18 or $17 in that price range, I'd easily compare this to a really nice Chardonnay in the mid-$20 range. It definitely pours in the glass and delivers beyond its price point. It's an elegant wine and a nice area for Chardonnay. I'd highly recommend it, and I'll definitely give a shout out to the wine origins in France. And I don't know if it's COVID. I mean, it's being locked up for a little while. If you're feeling stir crazy at all, don't feel bad. It's common. The first week, it's like being on vacation. You're with your family. And then after a couple weeks, oh, okay, we got to find a way to get used to this. After 4 or 5 weeks, it starts getting you get a little stir crazy. And I feel like singing a little something. So I had this crazy idea that in the near future, we'll have an episode that maybe features 3 live sung arias by me. Live sung arias or songs, and we'll talk about the songs. We'll match a wine with them. And I think that would be a really fun special episode. But just as a teaser, I'm thinking of something French. I'm thinking the end of this beautiful aria from the opera Carmen. And it's all about the flower that was given to Don José, who sings this aria, and it's typically referred to as Le Fleur, or the flower aria. But at the very end of it, he says, "In you, Carmen, in you, I was yours. I was the choice of you. I love you." Just the very end of it. Something like this. Oh, ma Carmen, et j'étais une chose à toi, Carmen, je t'aime. Cheers. If you're over 21, have a couple of sips. And then share this video. And you know what? Subscribe. That tells us how much you like it. And it's fun. Come back and see me again. Let's chat wine. What?
Just goofy. And it's fun!